Akash INTI, the real reflection of you. The airport right now, just getting ready to head to Los Angeles. A quick little business trip. It's funny because the past couple days I've been trying to record a video, but for one reason or another, either the video just like cut out halfway or whatever. Not an excuse, simply whatever. I could have probably made something happen. But I figured the airport would be a nice little place to do so. So anyways, right now I'm headed to Houston. So I got the whole little cowboy look going on, right? Because wherever you go, I really do believe you should really dress for the part. So I'm dressing for the whole part of a cowboy. Anyways, what I was thinking about talking about earlier was actually funny enough was what to talk about, right? Like what's worth talking about. In other words, like we always talk to other people and just in the day that we're in, right? It could be I just ate this, or I did this type of exercise, or whatever, right? Like, literally, people talk to each other about anything always. And it got me thinking of, like, what's really worth talking about? Right now, there's certain things, obviously, like, you got a job, and you're working, well, you got to make sure that you communicate to your employer, or to your employee, or whatever, your customer, your vendor, whomever, right? So whomever's helping you with the whole process of business, there's a communication that's necessary. You're trying to, for example, I don't know, communicate with a loved one about what's going on with you, emotions, etc. Well, it makes sense, right? That's building a relationship. But it really got me thinking about, like, what's worth talking about? And from there, what it brought me to was like, well, what's the purpose of the communication? What do you really, what's the purpose of it, right? And sometimes the purpose is like business. Other times the purpose is really just to express an emotion, to get it outside of us so that we can kind of observe it. Other times, the purpose of communication is really just there is no purpose. It's simply entertainment. It's to pass the time. And that's all of them are okay, you know? It just got me thinking. It's just to bring a little bit more sharpness as to what's the purpose of my communication with everyone that I interact with. Anyone, it could be a business partner, it could be a lover, it could be a family member, it could be anyone, it could be some stranger, right? But what's the whole purpose to it? Why am I really communicating in that particular moment? It's funny because, well, I don't even know what's funny. I was just saying it's funny because I needed something to say in the interim, and that was the first thing that came to mind. But when I come to like places of, it's like, well, I don't really know what to say, or what do I do here, or I don't know. It's in those moments that I really kind of I discover myself to almost like a deeper level. In other words, I find something out about myself. There's always something there, right? Maybe I'm not aware of it in that particular moment, but something reveals itself, and oftentimes it reveals itself in a way that I could have never predicted at all. That's me. I'm zone 3. There's a lot of people going though, so that's one of the things. When I'm in the airport, I usually just wait for like everyone to go by, and it's like, all right, whatever. I'll just get in last because I don't care. I don't really care to me. It's like, all right, well, we're all going to be in the plane anyways. I'd rather spend as much time outside of the plane than inside of the plane. But some other people are like, oh, I want to be inside the plane. I want to get my seat. I want to be able to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. You do you, I'll do me, and we're all going to get on the same plane anyway. So anyways, I digress. But something always kind of reveals itself. Something always comes out as a result of just that time that I spent on whatever it may be. If it's that extra 5 minutes practicing martial arts, that extra 5 minutes in the pool, doing a couple more laps, that extra couple minutes stretching, that extra couple minutes making a YouTube video, whatever it is, there's always something that kind of reveals itself as a result of the spending this extra couple minutes. Lastly, just before I close off, this whole topic of attitude has really like come up to me. Just yesterday, I was cooking. And I don't really cook all too often. Not to say that I don't know how to, but more so that it's never really been like a big interest of mine. But recently I was like, I want to play around with this whole cooking thing a little bit more. I was talking to one of my friends, and he was talking about cooking, and it got me like, okay, let me check this out. Let me see what this is about. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I was just thinking to myself, like, what was the attitude that got me into doing that, right? And it was like, I was curious, right? It was like an attitude of like, I really want to know. I really am like, I'm curious, right? Through time, we might enter something, right? And I can speak for myself. I've entered multiple different disciplines, practices, you name it, right? And usually at the beginning, it's always like this sense of like excitement, right? It's like, I really want to either check this out or try it out or see what it's about, you know? But then through time, sometimes that gets a little eroded or almost polluted is a better way of saying it. In the sense of something else comes, like, an emotion from something else kind of taints it or whatever. But I've come to realize more and more that like the attitude with which I approach something in my life is so, so important. And to approach it with that attitude that I began it with, right? It's like when I first began an activity, that level of excitement fueled me to continue on forward with. And then there's some times where it's like, dude, I've been doing this for years. I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. And I almost forget what was that initial thing that brought me to it to begin with. So I say all of this because the attitude that we bring to our lives is so, so important. The attitude that I bring to my life is so important. And I'm saying this for myself right now. It's like, dude, bring a beautiful attitude to everything that you do in life, such that it's almost a celebration of life itself, and it's just a miraculous way of going about it. So with that, keep up, thrive, and stay sexy, partner.